Timer begun.
I'm recording, so everybody go silent.
It
for
has
2
begun.
seconds. Silence.
So once again, happy...
Silence! Okay. Welcome to Close Look. I'm Daniel Westbay, joined by...
Alicia.
And Dustin Gaddick.
Yes, happy days it is today. It's a special day. It's International Women's Day, although when you watch this, and it's going to be 3 weeks from today. So, hello, welcome. This is the set of our podcast, Sweet Culture. These are the two amazing people I work with. We're just throwing this out there on Shaw Multicultural so that you can see what we are about and what Close Look is about. But what better to explain all this stuff than the two people that are with me? Go ahead, guys. What is Close Look to you?
Okay.
Well,
okay. What is Close Look to me? Okay. I think that it's a platform of inclusivity, creativity, and understanding of difference, so that we can all come together and understand one another, to address differences, to address each other, and have a more harmonious community.
Okay, Dustin.
Close Look is a space of opportunity for young and old alike. And it is certainly a place that makes you feel welcome and inviting. And more importantly, I think the spread and love and the perpetual force of what culture represents to people, that all culture has something good to offer, and that we can combine our culture to make even something even better. I think I would like to say a mega culture. Mega.
And with that being said, of course, it's Women's Day, so we're going to talk about some topics that Alicia here has come up with. So, Alicia,
structurally
take
come
the
up
reins.
with. Oh my
Take
gosh!
the reins.
Okay.
Take the reins. Okay, she took the reins. I don't know. Now they're yours. So.
Okay.
Yours. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, yeah. So today is International Women's Day. For those of you who may not be familiar, it's a global day which celebrates the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. But it's also a day of reflection, which kind of marks a call for action to accelerate women's rights. So, we can kind of rejoice in the progression of women's rights, but it's also important for us to see if those mandates, if those goals have actually really been achieved. So it's kind of a two-part thing for sure. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So Dustin, what does Women's Day mean for you?
International Women's Day is a celebration of the serenity and the beauty of the female spirit. I believe that, of course, this is kind of like a silly argument of the chicken and the egg and what came first in this case. I think women are responsible for a great many things, including the force of life itself. Because
I guess in a sense,
yeah, a little bit.
A little.
Well,
Yeah.
we are only males only partake in the implantation of the
You know
seed.
what, guys? Hang on.
but
Sorry,
women-
Dustin. I don't mean to interrupt. It's freaking hot in here. I'm just gonna go off screen for a little bit and turn off that.
Uh-oh.
Damn.
Hot flashes, my friend. Hot flashes.
Keep going.
Which is also
well-
women's issues. I mean,
There you go. That's also something about menopause, but we're not going to talk about that.
another time.
Another time, yeah. We're not here about health issues or health challenges. But, women are the force of nature. There's a reason why everybody always says Mother Nature, not Father Nature. Of course, for some strange reason, they say Father Time, not Mother Time. I don't know where these prefixes and you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know
they
where
also
come
say
from.
mankind and
Yeah,
man-made, and that's like another issue.
Yeah, that's a whole
It's
nother
another topic.
to
Yes.
talk about. But specifically,
Absolutely.
the focus is, the meaning of International Women's Day. And my go-to point is that, we're celebrating the beauty and the serenity of the female spirit, the intelligence, emotional intelligence, I would like to say, the intuition that women have, which I feel is far more superior. So it has a lot of things to teach, a lot of things that we can learn from. And that's generally how I feel about Women's Day, I think, is that celebration.
Yeah, that's very beautifully said.
Thank
I
you.
think that it's like you're really encompassing a lot of multifaceted personalities and characteristics that
Oh,
women
yeah.
women hold.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's really good to think of it that way. It's not just the physical achievements, but it's like the innate.
Never am I actually focusing
beauty
on
of
that
women.
aspect. It's the internal
Yeah.
aspect that I think is the most powerful and empowering. In fact, so yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think someone's saying hello.
Yes. I would like to shout out my mother.
Ooh. Alicia's mother again.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, Suquinder. Thank you for joining in.
Hello, peeps.
Shannon. Oh, Shannon.
Oh,
Hi,
Shannon.
Shannon. Thank you so
Shannon.
much
Hey.
for.
Sorry if
Yeah,
I
thank you
butchered
so
your
much for joining us. Yeah.
Hey, Dustin,
Very
someone's
awesome guy.
birthday today too, right?
Yes,
Ah.
it's my cousin's birthday, Matthew. Shout out to Matthew. Sorry for missing your birthday. I hope you enjoy the gifts that I got you for your birthday. In any case, yeah, shout out to Maddie.
That's nice. How old is he?
Oh.
Like, give us an age range. How about that?
4.
It's
I
on.
mean 4 is where I'm going with.
with.
I'm sorry. I've kind of forgotten that aspect. But yeah, you can fault me for my memory being so crappy these days.
Okay.
So let's discuss some more stuff here.
Yeah,
so I'm
absolutely.
about to bring up this webpage that Alicia brought us to. She
Yeah.
wants to discuss a little bit about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the International Women's Day, I guess, homepage. Like I said, it's like a global affair.
Yep.
So it's kind of known amongst the world. And so the theme for this year is hashtag each for all. Hashtag each for equal.
Yeah.
Yes. And so if you go down the page, you see pictures of various people, men, women, and
Everything.
others, everyone.
Because this goes along with your lines that really it's about just having humanity be
Yeah.
on equal terms.
Yeah, and I really think there's a push to change the narrative because it's International Women's Day. So we're thinking about women. I mean, that is the main reason why this thing exists.
Well, they fought so much to get to where they are too, right? So
Absolutely. But I think in this day and age, we have to also realize that the conversation doesn't just start and end with women.
I
you know?
agree.
Yeah. So that's why, again, the theme for this year is each for equal, and they have like
this equals
the forearms together like this, resembling equalness of the genders. And yeah, I just thought it was nice. I thought it was nice that they're really pushing for this. And I think it also, even like our panel here, I think I appreciate the fact that we're from different cultures, different backgrounds, because now we have a platform where we can talk about this, be honest, and like even acknowledge any kind of miscommunications or misunderstandings we have.
Yeah.
Just to add to, in terms of history, the first International Women's Day occurred in 1911, supported by over 1 million people.
Wow.
So that's something to add in terms of International Women's Day. Today, International Women's Day belongs to all groups collectively, everywhere. International Women's Day is not country, group, or organization specific. I think that's important to emphasize as well.
Absolutely. Yep.
It absolutely is. And you know what? The funny thing is, like, I know this is still relatively new and hard for people to understand that we need equality like this, but I think it's good. I mean, I was discussing this with Dustin in the car on the way here that I've never had a strong woman female presence haven't been in my life, right? There's always been a strong female, and I always believe that women and men can be on the same equal grounds. I just haven't met one that could be rivaled to me. So it's just really
What?
Yeah.
What was that? I'm just kidding.
So it's and we also discussed like strong female power in movies. Like I've never not seen a strong woman. I mean, if written right. I mean, Dustin and I did discuss if they're written well, they can be well in movies. I mean, I don't know. Linda Hamilton definitely comes to mind. I don't know if you've.
For me, it's Sigourney Weaver.
Or but the thing is that what made these women powerful wasn't that they had to spout, "Oh, I'm a woman. I could do everything every 2 seconds." Right? They were just strong simply because they were badass. Right? I feel like that when you have to hammer home that you are a woman and that you could do everything a man can do, then you kind of lose the connection to people, right?
Yeah, it's like a little force. You're really trying to push an agenda when it should kind of just be apparent to you.
Yeah,
you know?
apparent. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
No. I did tell Dustin, like, I think Captain Marvel was the worst case of this. I love the movie, by the way. I loved it. But when they started adding, like, I'm just a girl, and, like, things like this, little things like that, it's like, oh, okay, I
Well,
get it. You're a woman. Like, geez,
what-
can we? And she beats up like 3 guys and 1 girl, and it's like, okay, I get it. You're like, I get it. You're a
Interesting.
female with female bits.
What did you
don't
think
have
about
to-
that? There was a scene in what was it? I think it was Avengers.
Yeah,
like all
I know
the
where you're
women
going.
came
The
out.
Avengers End. I felt like it's okay, but I felt like it was not placed well in the movie. But it was cool because the men have that all the time, right? So I mean,
I did think it was unusual to
Yeah.
be like, hey,
Exactly,
let's
right.
all get together in
Yeah.
this
No, I
chaos
agree.
of
Yeah.
battle and war.
agree.
Oh
Let's
my
all
goodness.
just conveniently
It's like
They're
appear
all
together.
conveniently together.
all the bad
already,
guys
yeah.
disappeared where they
It's like,
were.
where did
It's-
everybody's, because you would think in
reset
about
Well,
it, they would
okay,
all be
let's-
sporadically everywhere.
Well, honestly, I think Ant-Man should have died. Like, how did
What?
he? How did? I'm saying if we're talking about like the reality of things, like that big explosion, he should have died. Like, come
No,
on.
If we're gonna throw reality, that rat shouldn't have been there.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
That rat
Exactly.
saved the day.
I agree.
yeah.
What if he never came across? It would have been like 6, 7, 10 years.
Nobody would know.
Yeah, nobody would know.
Yeah. Holy. Okay.
Man, anyways,
Anyways.
We're talking about
so we're
women's
talking
This is-
about
okay, women's
I
rights.
think, no, but I think what I'm talking about is like, I get that women want equality and they want this whole thing, but I feel like hammering home all the time, it could be detrimental too, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that goes
yeah.
with really any movement, right? That goes with any movement. I mean, right now there's a lot of things happening around the railway line, right? A lot of unnecessary protests, or at least not the way that it should be handled. A lot of things are happening around the world, like coronavirus. There's a lot of misinformation about that stuff.
Moral panic and stuff. Yeah.
And so I feel like right now we're just wanting to jump on every fad that's out there. I mean, Women's Day, I'm not saying it's a joke or anything like that. I think it's really, but I often fight for women's rights on a daily basis.
Every day. Yeah.
Right. And I feel like, I mean, in wrestling, because I wrestle, if anybody didn't know that, I often see women wrestlers come in, but they don't stay, or they get dismissed because the stigma is still there that women wrestlers are only seen as one type of woman.
Interesting.
And I often advocate or fight for not letting that. I want them to be their own thing. I mean,
that's
I
very
see nothing but
interesting.
great talent. So
Okay.
yeah, it's
So are they like I guess archetyped, like just to be a certain type of
almost
even
almost
like
even if like the
if
thing,
it's a support, like maybe there's support.
the funny
roles or
thing is
something.
there's some fantastic talented women wrestlers, but sometimes if they don't have a certain look or a certain style, it's not going to be viable for them, right? But I want to break down those. I like to break down those walls. I like to break down a lot of walls.
So question: how do you do that on a daily? If that's what you'd like to do, because that's a big responsibility to do that.
Well, okay, fighting on. I mean, like,
I'm just wondering, like,
Yeah.
like even just being like high-fiving someone.
yeah,
That's
well, that's what I
still
mean.
in
I
the
mean, like,
way
giving respect where it's due. I feel like sometimes, and Dustin will agree with me on this. I know he will because we've voiced this a lot. But sometimes when you're nice to people or nice to women, they often perceive that as not the right
Oh,
way.
you mean that whole trope?
And-
like, I'm trying to come on to you by being nice to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Where did the perception come from that I'm actually trying
And
to
so
hit on
it's-
you for being nice?
and so it's that kind of mentality that we try to that I try to instill in people that I meet on a daily basis, especially women, right? I mean, women wrestlers or women, like anything really. It's like, look, I'm being nice to you. I want to see you progress, but doesn't mean that that I want anything more with that. But anyways, like there's so many men coming out now that have done terrible things to women that it's just
It's just hard.
Anyways.
I mean, I get that. There's a lot of frustration when it comes to that, but we have all been kind of enslaved to the gender like script. This is how, like, in a certain situation, like this is how it goes down. And if it looks to be that way, if it fits your schema, like if it fits your idea of like how the situation will look, then you're gonna perceive it to be that way. And it's only when you kind of are aware of that, and you're just like, yeah, I'm not gonna abide to this. Like, I'm just gonna be a nice person. That's when I think you just kind of appreciate.
So what does it mean to you? Because
What do you mean?
you are a woman on our show.
I am a woman on this show.
Dustin is another woman on this show. No. That's not.
Oh my goodness.
But what does that mean to you to see how far women come? Because what do you say it was celebrated 1911?
11.
A
yeah.
lot has changed since 1911. A lot.
Uh-huh.
Attitudes have changed.
Attitudes and
Economy,
everything.
politics. I mean, the reflection of attitudes and perception is it's a stark difference from what we are in 2020. So 1911 compared to 2020, I would like to say there are way too many differences now. I don't think that there are any similarities anymore.
Really?
I don't think that
I think we're still stuck and don't want women.
Well,
I mean,
our
look, this is
academic
just
structure is
listen.
quite
This
similar.
is just between me and you.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Hillary didn't get voted because
Of other
America
women.
doesn't want. No, America's not ready for a woman.
The woman president.
And to me, that is very apparent. You know, so that's. I mean, anyways, that's how I feel about that situation. There's so much more to it, but I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, I want to go back to the website though, because there were some key points that I really wanted to.
Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate the comment. He said that he likes the
He likes the
I
old
like
seating
the old
arrangement.
seating arrangement. Who made this executive decision? Guys and gal look sharp.
Wait,
That's
you
what he
don't
said.
like it, or he does like it?
He likes the old seating
When
arrangement.
we were facing each other, is that what you're saying, Dylan?
But then I would get
Yeah,
hidden.
it was hard
and
because
what's the point of the show?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
We're
that's-
trying to change it up just specifically because we're obviously including Alicia, and it's International Women's Day.
Yeah.
So this is an executive decision between all of us,
yes.
and we support it for the time being. But thanks for chiming in, Dylan. Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, just going back to the website, there were just two things that were very apparent to me. One, and we've been talking about this like the whole time, but basically just, collectively creating a gender equal world, right? And that means not just women's rights, but also men's rights and
animals'
just,
rights.
yeah, actually.
Hey, true that, man.
We should also chime in. For
Yeah,
animals
because
as well.
it's like the society is based on how we treat the most vulnerable,
Oh, yeah.
right? Whether that's women, whether that's children,
Or
whether it is
koalas.
animals. Yeah, absolutely. And then the second thing was just like it was focusing on collective individualism, and now that's really interesting because I mean, if you look at our country, right, we're very individualistic. Collective individualism seems like very weird words to put together.
Yeah.
Does that mean like to do things for the better of the community, or am I wrong?
I think it means like doing things that you do on a daily basis as a person that is benefiting the collective. So, for example, it's saying that like our individual actions, our conversation, our mindset on a daily basis is what's going to impact and actually create a gender equal world, right? Because we're individuals, right? Like we are going to do what we want to do.
Yeah.
So why not have it benefit everyone and encourage that kind of mindset?
I agree.
And it's nice because it's something that's doable. If we all kind of abide to that, that's how you can actually change
So,
things.
like small individual achievements, things like, for instance, making sure to leave the seat down in the toilet, I think is a big deal. And I have heard.
I think that would stop wars.
I think we could stop wars in the household at least if men specifically made the effort to put the seat down after we've done our business. At least when it comes to going number one. But
Wow, we talk about everything and anything here.
we are at 5 minutes.
Perfect.
I think you're right. Individual actions, things that will impact the collective in a positive way. I agree.
So
Good
what do you
stuff.
want? Do you want to point anything else on this website?
No, that I just thought those were the two main things. And just like I just like that how it includes everyone.
Oh, collective individuals.
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
That's what you're talking about. I can't read that from here, guys. So if
It's-
you want to read it, I'll leave it on the screen for a little bit, and y'all can read it. But I can't see that from here.
Or do you want me to read it out?
Yes, please.
Okay, because I like
you.
to read out loud. I've always
Yeah.
liked doing this when I was in
Do
elementary
this.
school. Okay, so the International Women's Day 2020 campaign theme is drawn from the notion of collective individualism. That's what I mentioned earlier. We are all parts of a whole. Our individual actions, conversations, behaviors, and mindsets can have a larger impact on an impact on our larger society. Collectively, we can make change happen. Collectively, we can each help to create a gender equal world. We can all choose to be each for equal. Lovely. I was gonna sing a song, but apparently there's copyright laws, and I don't think.
Delight. I did it for you.
No.
Sky rockets in flight.
Woo.
Go ahead. No,
Nobody joined in on that.
No, I promised you could say it. Go ahead. Say it. Afternoon delight.
Afternoon delight.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Hang up.
Oh my gosh.
Sound effect. There's a sound effect.
Where is it?
Well, you can hear.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, but that was about it with that website there. I don't know if you guys want to add anything to that. Yeah, I feel like just the way that I am in society. So like I'm a woman. I can tell when people embody.
Yeah. Do you
that
still
kind of mindset or
find
not.
that there's still like certain people out there that discriminate against you because you're
Yeah, and it's not even just like oh, I'm a woman. It's just maybe it's like a combination of things. Like, so maybe I'm a woman and I look young, or so a lot of ageism, honestly.
Dylan's
What's
like
Dylan
knock
say?
knock, lawyer here.
I don't get it. What does that mean? I don't get
No,
it.
he's making a joke about the copyright
copyright
strikes.
strike.
Oh,
When
okay,
you
okay.
reference, like
Yes.
actual song material.
Yeah,
and
we
Facebook
should get a
just
lawyer
destroys you.
onto this team, you
No,
know?
no. I don't want no lawyers. No lawyers here.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dustin, you said you had something. So what is? I think I'm gonna actually play to your point. So we were discussing about like some because I worked in women dominant places sometimes, and I feel like this is where the example of equality doesn't happen too well. Like I was working at a healthcare facility, and no matter what, if something went wrong, they would just say, "Oh, it was the guy." They didn't know who I was. They would blame it on the guy.
And you were the only one
Yeah, I
that
was
were
like
there?
the only one of two guys. So really, it's like
Interesting.
it's just
You know, sorry, please go
it
ahead.
just seems to me that sometimes, even though women fight for this equality,
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes it's only if it benefits them.
Them. And that's the
benefits their
thing.
agenda.
And you know what? I agree with that. It's sad because I think that when it's something that is advantageous to them, then yeah, like equal rights. But when it's something that's kind of it's in the same sphere of things, like it's gonna be equal, but it might be a little bit more inconvenient or a little bit more work, then women or some people will try to kind of go back to the traditional script, like the gender script. Like, for example, like, let's say, I don't know, like one example I've heard of all the time is just like, you know, paying on the first date. It's like, hey, that's a gender script. That's like, that is like, there's a social situation. This is what happens. But also it's kind of, it goes deeper than that. So like, I'm an independent woman. Do I pay? And then now if the guy doesn't pay, then what's that about? Like there's a few things that are in factors there.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to cut you off. Sorry. I'm just going to wrap it up. That was the taste of sweet culture, which you could see on Sundays on the Facebook page of Closelook at 7 p.m. If you want to get a hold of us at any time, go to www.closelook.ca. The phone number, the information is there. We have a magazine, which I fail to have with me right now. We have a magazine out that you could write to if you have a great, amazing story. If you want to be interviewed on one of these shows, Omni or Shaw, please reach out to us, and we would love to hear from you. I hope that you are having a fantastic day, and I will talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thank you for making that harder. Okay, and continuing on. Now we're on just normal mode. That
Sorry,
was
for those who were tuned in and did not know what was going on. We were basically recording a segment for television.
Yeah.
Which will show in 3 weeks from now.
3 weeks from now.
Yeah.
But we wanted to just be able to cover that segment, and now we're going to continue on resuming our podcast.
Continue. Sorry.
Yeah.
Dustin, you recently had something like this happen.
Well, I don't want to obviously do any name drops or anything
No,
like
don't.
that.
I'm not
and
saying
I'm not
to
going to do
it,
that, obviously, but I do experience this inequality in the work environment too, because unfortunately, from when it comes to physical labor, even though we work alongside women, men tend to do more physical labor in terms of exertion for heavier materials and stuff like that than the women do. And considering that we're all working for the same wage, it seems unusual that I have to strain my back more
Mm-hmm.
for the heavy materials that are being requested to be moved.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
So when I look at that, like when I think about
Yeah.
that situation, I think about the biological differences.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
So yes, women are, for the most part, less strong than men are.
There you go, right?
Weaker than.
But that's the
No,
argument.
So then-
that's what we
so
argue,
then-
because there
so
are
then-
also extremely physically able-bodied women.
So you're saying, okay, so then so in your opinion, the women that are there, are they like, I don't know how to say it in a nice way, but are they physically up to
be
your
I guess in terms of like physiological differences, there are major physiological differences, and also there's a large variety of age gaps. Some of the female workers are in their 50s or 60s, things like that. So it's entirely understandable. And
Yeah.
there's not enough young men in my work environment, at least, to help with the heavy lifting. So it usually gets defaulted to myself and maybe a handful of middle-aged men, generally, for the heavy lifting. But yeah, no, things like that happen, right? And I do question in my mind, at the end of the day, my lower back is strained, and I feel physiological pain, and I'm making the exact same amount of money as the women do, and they're doing a lot of light lifting. So it's kind of for me, it's like I question to myself, is it worth the longevity of my health?
I think. Sorry, do you have something you want to say?
No, I got nothing.
Okay.
I got nothing.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't want to cut you off there, but I think like for jobs like that, I think that it's really up to the employers to make sure that it's like a very equal, like the people that they hire are all on equal footing.
Yeah.
Because I totally understand that.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's just simply being able to obtain enough interest for young men to be employed in such services, which is understandable. Working in a warehouse may not necessarily appeal to everybody in a young group or in a young age group, but that's just an example of that whole struggle for equal workplace practices, equal rights, and equal gender equality in the workplace. Right? That's generally what we're discussing there.
Yeah.
But no, I totally get it.
It's tricky, isn't it?
It's a very
Isn't
tricky
it tricky?
thing. It's
a
very challenging.
I try. I mean, you see me being silent right now for the most part because I just in my head there's no way that I could turn this into a like I want to be as positive as possible. Like I really do believe that women rights, but we have to and the double standards. Like I just there also hasn't been a woman where I haven't met that she will change the rules to benefit their needs.
Yeah.
Even if they're all about, I mean, feminism is another one too, right? Feminism get thrown around a lot, and
Absolutely.
but feminism in its core values mean again equality for everybody.
Yes.
Right. Whereas some people take it as it's almost like the way, like, and I'm not trying to nitpick again. See, this is why I'm scared to say anything. They want more of a raise, they want more money, but they don't want to do the same amount of work that a man would do. Yeah. Like, again, going back to, like, we're just going to use warehouse as an example.
Okay.
I'm just going to use it as an example. Dustin over there lifts a box that's 25 kilos, right? Now a woman wants a raise, right? Dustin's getting a certain amount. She wants the same amount. Is she going to lift that box? Probably not. She's probably going to come to Dustin and be like, Dustin, can you lift that? So that is where, and that's just like, I'm just trying to give a small snippet. And that is where the problem, I feel like it starts to get a disconnect and why people are still, it's a miscommunication because I feel like that those are two ends of the spectrum, right? But yeah,
it's hard.
Again, it's hard.
It's hard because like, it's like that. I think that applies to this example, but it does not apply to like other examples, right? It's very like wishy-washy.
Are you telling me that sometimes somebody doesn't get whether a bonus or a promotion or whatever, not based sometimes on what they look like, and usually it's...
Well, I'm just thinking in terms of, now I'm not thinking in terms of physical like strength. I'm thinking in terms of like mental capacity, right? So mental capacity, especially in the like, I don't know, managerial roles and things like that. Sometimes it's not even, people don't get raises or people don't get hired up because of their like basically because of their gender and what it means. So for for a man to exert himself like for a raise, it's kind of like normal. And it's like I feel like in those situations, like it's because a man is already doing that, it's like easier for him to get what he wants. Whereas if a woman was to do it, it's like there's a lot of words that can be used that are very negative, and they're not going to get the point across that they deserve the raise. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I kind of do.
You still processing.
It's just whether or not I agree.
It's like
I think that
I feel like
processing.
I feel like for work, no, with work, like I just look at it. I've always been a fair worker, no matter where I've worked in warehouses, construction, all those things. And I'm just like, you know what? You're getting paid the same as me. You're going to do the same amount of work, whether you like it or not. So that's how I always look at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if you're pregnant, you're fine. I could kind of let you get away with it, but sometimes they take it to extremes, and that's all I'm trying to point out. But sometimes things can be taken to extremes. But yeah, it's hard to gauge who's actually legitimate or who's not illegitimate. So.
If we're talking about like management roles, if a woman has the same credentials as a man, and the only major difference is then the personality traits of a person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice if a person was judged based on the assertiveness and those kind of qualities to actually nail the job, because they both have the same credentials.
I agree.
You know what I mean? But I do agree that there's an issue with most workplaces, which is called favoritism.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but
And
I don't blame that on equality or women. But I mean,
favoritism is unfortunately like familiarity. Like,
true.
Oh, that's my friend's cousin.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna hire this guy who's my son-in-law's girlfriend. Sorry, not guy, woman. As opposed to this other woman,
but
who doesn't get the. You know what I mean, right?
But you see that in all types of cultures too.
All
Sorry, Alicia, I'm
workplaces
not trying to.
have
No, it's
favoritism.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all of them do.
I mean, often when you go to, and I don't want to single out anything, but when you go to Richmond, I mean, a lot of issues were there because a lot of their writing is either in Mandarin or Chinese or Japanese. Like they don't even have English. Like they had to pass a law saying you have to have something in English. I mean, not so that in itself is kind of, I mean, that's more racism than anything. But I mean, yeah, but that's the kind of thing. I feel like right now we need to basically just, there's a lot of double standarding happening, and I feel like that needs to be broke down. And
I just wanted to kind of, there was a point that you made about, like a managerial position where they're kind of trying to figure out, or like they're trying to figure out who's the best candidate.
Who's the best candidate.
And I think that like just traditionally, like men have certain personality traits that are considered advantageous for success. Like assertiveness, dominance, yeah. And women are a bit more like nurturing and communal and all that kind of stuff. And so then in that situation, assertiveness is probably a good trait, but you can still get to a point of what's it called?
But even to that point, I feel like it's still generalizing, because there are people of a different LGBTQ community
plus,
right? No, but community that would be like, but they're a man and they still have that nurturing and all that stuff side.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I like. It's so.
I think it's based on the position itself too.
True. No, I agree.
Because like, okay, let's say a counseling position, like a man who's nurturing and all that kind of, bring them in. Like that's what we need.
For male nurses specifically, right?
Yeah, and I think men have also had a problem with that, like getting into those kind of positions.
Yeah.
Because they would be considered a little bit, like, I know I'm definitely generalizing when I'm using these words, but like they would be kind of considered as like a little bit weak, a little bit more feminine or whatever. Even in my psychology classes, like when I was back in university, there were only a couple of guys that were in the classes. And it was just like, they were the ones that were really, I guess, open-minded and resonated with the topics. So I would say that there were no alpha men in those classes. And that's really a shame. That kind of says something.
I feel so like, this is why I have such a tough time discussing this topic, because honestly, I never personally viewed anybody as less equal than me, really. Like, I know I make jokes and crack at the like rival and all that stuff, but really, I don't care what race, gender, whatever you are. If you could bring whatever you claim to bring to the table, I have no problem with you whatsoever. I don't care.
Yeah.
So it's hard,
I wish everyone thought like that, to be honest.
It's hard for me to give like instances where this has happened to me, because I really I couldn't remember them even if I tried. My memory, Dustin knows, is a pile of trash.
So is mine.
So
well, I'm gonna be getting there soon too. So
so that's why I think that like things like this, like Women's Day, or I mean, honestly, it should be Women's Month. Why not? We have Black History Month. I mean, why not have Women's History Month?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like it doesn't make sense to me. We have all these weird I mean, it's also a little weird because Dustin and I are white more than anything. So anything we say can and probably will be used against us.
you. Not
Really
even, not
anything?
just even in
Like,
court of
You know,
law.
I would like to reiterate that.
I know we are not like
we're not complete. I mean,
No, but
okay,
that's
well,
but I'm not
I'm
saying that.
European.
It's,
You have South American roots.
Yeah,
like,
you're
but
just,
no, but our color, right?
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah,
our default
I
color,
guess,
yeah.
I guess, yeah, because
Oh, we come from white privilege. You know, it's like I hate that, and that's why I tend to
No,
not say much.
I mean, that's very tough because I think it does exist, but then it also, you have to just be super careful, and because people will scrutinize what you're saying.
Yeah, but sometimes I mean, ask Dustin. I mean, structurally, this show is made to cater to a lot of people, and so Dustin and I, we often curve our views and opinions on things because what we say may or may not hit our audience that we want to try to include.
Yeah.
Right? Because it could be sometimes when we say things, it could be sometimes misconstrued as something else, which we didn't mean to say as. Right? So it's interesting because I don't want to say anything bad about this, but I also feel like that my experiences, I mean, I've never, and again, I'm probably going to get hate for this, I have never had a woman boss that is actually a good boss. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like they always have to try to show themselves being better than the men that
That's very interesting that you say, because I also agree with you. I've had in my history female bosses that were not very good
Yeah, same.
at
Yeah.
the core values of the job
Yeah,
itself.
exactly.
There was always an ego or an
yeah.
id that was interfering with the performance.
Yep.
And but the same can be said to certain male bosses
It's true.
also, right? I've had terrible male bosses.
Yeah.
So you know, it's always relative to the experience.
Yeah.
But do you think like because maybe they are the exception to the rule, like it's mostly males that are the bosses, that the women that have been in those roles, they stand out more to you?
I think I personally think that women can make great leaders. Don't get me wrong. I do. I really, really do. Because they're able to have the emotion. Is there somebody saying something? And
No. I'm just saying hello, Sammy.
Is there? Oh, there is right there. I have to scroll down. It
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
just
I was
refresh
like, what
it.
are you waving at?
Yeah.
Like,
If you're seeing
Sorry, we're still trying to figure
acknowledging
out.
the people.
We're still trying to figure out this whole
people.
chat thing. Yeah. So I don't know. Anyways, they just.
They think I'm doing sign language or something, but I'm actually
how are
acknowledging you.
We're
the
gonna have
people.
we should have a little guy in the corner just sign languaging like in the
Yeah.
TV shows. Yeah, you know what? I just men, women alike are just. I feel like they have. Yeah, I don't know.
I know
experience. It's hard for me to because again, I've only ever been around strong women, so they always speak up and always talk and you know. And I'm never.
And I do appreciate women that actually speak their mind,
Exactly,
as opposed
yeah.
to beating around the bush.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The straighter a woman is, the better I could get along with people. You know, and it's just. I hate when, you know, I remember working at McDonald's. Who said that? What is that? Hello?
No, it's a David
Hello,
saying,
amigos.
hola, amigo.
David.
Hello, guys.
I like his last name, David Santa Cruz.
Yeah,
It's
man.
very like.
I remember working at McDonald's, and anytime she was above me, she was a manager, and anytime she wanted to do something, she'd go, Daniel, can you do this for me? And at some point, it just became like, look, I know you're doing this to like thinking that if you are nice or flirt with me or kind with me, you're going to get me to do this thing, but it's my job. So you don't really have to do that. Just ask me to do it. Right. So
maybe she knows, like, maybe she read the scientific article that human touch will get her to.
I feel violated.
Not caress. Caress.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Dustin.
I don't know whether
Dustin, I feel very far from
I don't
you.
know how I feel about that. Am I supposed to be aroused?
I feel like we have to talk to HR. Hang on, let me get him on the phone. He's me.
Where's the human resources department?
If you notice, I'm not commenting on this.
And that's the other thing, right? Harassment has become such a huge thing.
Yeah. And you know what? There's actually times where, like, I'm okay with.
Sorry,
Sammy's saying she was just being nice.
Sammy, next time I meet you, I'll tap you on the shoulder too.
No, but now now I feel like, because it's become so apparent and it's like such a prominent thing in our society, just like the harassment thing, that like if someone is like kind of going like this, like that's kind of on the forefront of my mind now without it even having to be like
that somebody is sexually harassing you?
No. No, it's just like the topic is now in my mind. You know what I mean?
What do they mean by it? No, I'm confused.
Like, okay, like for example, so if you
is there still
Sammy's like, everyone needs love. Sure, bro, I spread love. I don't know if I should have said it in that context.
No, not in that context. I think
no, I'm just saying like, okay, so the topic of like harassment or just like inappropriate touching is just so like prominent now.
Yes.
And like for me, so if I'm in a situation where like someone is just like, you know, like that, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. But because it's like been swirling around in the news and stuff, it's starting to come up in my mind more so than before. Media. And then, but then, yeah, it's like, and then I'm thinking more of it. And then you have to kind of take a step back from all of that stuff. And that's why I think for some people, it might get to them and they might actually kind of think that, oh, this is wrong when maybe it wasn't before. Yeah, I don't know. But
Dustin, have you ever had anything like that?
Actually, I was sexually harassed once in the courthouses when I used to work as security.
Wait, hang on. I like to say you jumped to that story really fast. You're just waiting for it. It's in your back pocket. Like quick draw.
No.
Go ahead.
But I have experienced it. So what was happening was I was leaving the elevators, and there was a group of 4 women. I believe they were just leaving the courthouse, and they made a comment about my voice. Said it was sexy, and I thought it was inappropriate because I was on the job. And I was actually reporting into the radio at the time.
What do you want to... Sorry, say that. Radio what? Sorry. Alicia was...
What's going on? Was there a technical difficulty?
No, she was messing around with my mouse. She was
touching
messing
my mouse. Around with his mouse? She was
touching...
Yeah, that was...
Wow.
Okay, please.
Finish that
apologize
story.
for that.
Myself again?
Finish that story.
Well, no.
Finish yourself off.
I already finished. I finished the story. But you guys
did you finish yourself off on your own? I apologize. I want to.
Wow.
I'm joking.
Anyways, this is about Women's Day, man.
No, I know. No, actually, no, because a comment came up.
Oh.
And I looked at Alicia, and we kind of.
Yeah, we had a little sidebar. Sorry about that. Yeah.
It's okay.
It was all related.
It was.
Okay. Yeah.
Because Sammy said that if a guy did that to a woman, like the touch and stuff,
then
it's often like, oh, it's sexual harassment.
The same would be said if, for instance, I said that you have a sexy voice to a woman.
Yes.
Yeah, it would be considered
you would have been considered. Yes,
so that's,
but nobody paid any mind to the fact that I was being commented that way, and I didn't actually want that kind of comment.
So that's
really
the thing.
Sexual
like
harassment, though. Hey, Dustin, you have a sexy voice. Is that really?
I think it's like unwanted.
Especially when they all giggled and kind of, you know.
I don't know. I guess I just view it differently.
I just think it's like unwanted.
I didn't want that comment.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be, you know, like I'm, you know. I
and
just
there's another,
kind of
and maybe there's like there's definitely another way of saying it.
Yeah, true.
Right.
You have a lovely voice. Could have been better. Yeah. Then you have a sexy voice, and then all the girls are like.
But maybe they all thought you did. That's not a bad thing.
But
not when I'm in uniform is what I'm trying to say.
But
say that when I'm outside of the job or something like that.
But it's not. But at the end of the day, it's not something that you consented to. Like you didn't ask for this comment to be made. So that's what it is. And this topic itself is actually really, really important, because if we're saying gender equality, it has to apply.
It has to apply to both, yeah.
Everything, yeah, to both sides. So for women to kind of get off the hook when it comes to like those harassment cases, BS, like no. We should be all.
I like that. I'm gonna keep that. You're gonna see that. Your face is great there. I love it.
Who, me?
Yeah, your face. You'll see on the screen. Yeah, there you go. Right there. That's our new screenshot.
Sammy, women love men in uniform. Yeah. Anyway, so we're leading to about the 10-minute mark. I wanted to just kind of ask each and every one of you, what were your role models growing up? Female role models. Because we didn't touch this topic, I wanted to touch it just lightly.
What is yours? Do you want to start?
Mine specifically, Maria Callas, a female opera singer from Greece. Lisa Gerrard from Australia. She's also a famous singer. And Sofia Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola's daughter, who was like the first female director that impacted my life with that movie Lost in Translation with Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson, which skyrocketed her career from that point onwards.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it really basic, because this is, I actually thought a lot about this, and I wasn't able to come up with like one person.
I asked you this week.
Yeah, and it took me like a couple hours. Like, that is so bad. But I'm really going to keep it basic, because this person has stayed with me since I was a little kid. It was actually Christina Aguilera. Because I watched this one video. I was always watching Britney Spears with one of my childhood friends, and I hated how she was always being supported by the male dancers. I always hated that. Yeah. And then I saw one of Christina Aguilera's music videos, and she was doing all the dancing all by herself. And I said, damn, that's what I envision. That's my vision for myself and for other girls out there. And I didn't realize how prominent of a theme it is in my life. It's weird. It's such a simple, thing that I've always thought about. Yeah.
There's no shame in that. And hello, Mama.
Yes, hello, Miss Gaddick.
Hello, Mother. Wait, is her name Alicia?
Alicia.
Oh,
I call her Miss Gaddick. They don't.
He says Miss Gaddick. He's very formal about
it. Miss Gaddick.
Hello, can I say mine?
I think you should.
Yes, please.
You are allowed.
It's a new one. It's a new one.
Yeah, it's a new one.
I was just thinking about this 2 seconds before you guys came up with yours, and I'm thinking that that Congresswoman, the Spanish one. I can't remember her name. And you guys.
Well, you certainly put a lot of time.
You guys, no, but I can't remember.
The
thing is, I always see her.
I don't remember her name.
She comes up with.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking
probably
about.
will when you see her.
Or?
I don't know if she has glasses. She might, but she's pretty. She's pretty smart. She sits there and often I see that one. Yeah.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah, so she often shows up on my Facebook ads.
Put it up here.
Hang on. There we go. Go ahead. There we go.
Wait.
Yep.
No, you're fine.
You got it.
You're center camera. Yep. So.
Oh
yeah. So yeah, her have you watched when you go to Facebook? Watch now. It's gonna show up on both your guys' phones. It's because it listens all the time.
Why did I make that post?
She's always asking hard ass questions. I love it. It's so good, and she's so strong. And I feel like we need more women like that. Mm-hmm. That aren't afraid to step up to the establishment, but have a valid reason why to step up to the establishment.
Yeah. I just wanted to actually add one thing. So even the work that I do, I work at a women's shelter. Oh, whoa. Oh, lovely.
No, thank you, Jairus, for the comment. It's a very long one.
Go ahead. What does it say?
You want me to read it? Okay.
Well, we're in between.
I was going to write about reverse sexual harassment, such as too much explicit exposure, which I faced in the warehouse before, and yes, officially reported it to supervisors and sent them home. But you guys only have so much time to cover so much, so laugh out loud. Keep it real.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jairus.
Yeah, no, thank you for that comment. I think that's really important. I just wanted to add something really quickly, because I didn't realize that I should mention this. So I work at a women's shelter, and all the women that I work with are very strong. They're very strong-willed, strong-minded, amazing women. And so it's just nice to be surrounded around that kind of energy, because then you will also emulate it at one point in your life. Mm-hmm. And these women are helping other women. And so we're all kind of trying to uplift everyone's situation. I think it's lovely. Sure.
Well, I think that's what I think overall. I mean, I discussed this on the way here, Black History Month, when I discussed that. I think the most powerful thing that we can do is just be equal. Like I use Black Panther as an example that the reason why the movie resonated so well, I feel like even if people don't want to really admit it, is that they didn't hammer down your throat, hey, these are black people. We're black people.
Yeah.
We're black people. We're black people. We're black. You know, they were just a part of society.
It was just natural.
It was just natural. And I feel like the same thing goes for, again, the writing for women, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I use, again, I'm going to go back to a Terminator, right? But the new one, Dark Fate, I mean, they wrote those women in so well that you didn't even realize you were watching a woman empowerment type movie until like the end where you're like, huh, it is a woman's empowerment.
Cool.
But like, because it's about how do you eliminate something without bringing it to the attention? And I think that's the best way. I'm not saying to ignore it. No, I'm not saying to ignore it. But I'm also saying we're all humanity. We're all humans, right? We all have organs inside of us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all have brains. We all have thoughts, right? It's the same. We're all the same.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we all have different stories or different paths as to how or why we are where we are.
Mm-hmm.
But we're all humans, you know, and just just treat each other with respect. And that's
Yeah.
why, like you were saying, that's why experience is so much more important to me than what color or race or gender or what. I don't even care like what you are. It's about what you bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a baby Yoda.
Yeah.
And as long as you can lift weights.
What
we're
does
good.
Baby Yoda bring to the table, Dustin?
Bring to the table. He brings the force. Anyway, hello,
does.
Colleen.
Yes, my
Good to
mom's on
see
here.
you. Hello,
Aw.
thank you.
That's so nice. All of our moms are here for us.
All our moms, triple mom.
Yeah,
friends.
happy International Women's Day.
Yeah.
That's what it
You
is.
know, do you feel like they get too many? They have Mother's Day too. Isn't that kind of Women's Day too? Or did I just hit it?
I think we're allowed 2 days
Day?
out
You're
of
talking about
the
Mother's Day?
year.
Yeah. What about men? Men don't get a lot.
They
of
have
days.
Father's Day.
Actually, earlier Dylan was joking that men have Friday. Only Friday.
I don't understand what that meant.
Well, I don't know what that means, but thank you for giving us a day because I didn't know we had one. Anyway.
I feel like men have Sunday, but anyways.
I love that comment. I saw
Sunday.
that. Some people have brains, they just don't use them. It's very true. It's very true. And that's the problem. We need to eliminate that
They
kind of
murder the
thing,
recent
that
stories.
kind of thought. So, yeah. Anyways,
And Dylan says that Star Wars was murdered by the formula. That Marvel is.
well, we're not going to go into that. I'm not going to. We're not.
Women's Day,
Yeah, we're not
man.
talking. I'm not going to about to go
appreciate
into
the comment. We do
yeah,
appreciate
we
the
do.
comments. Don't be discouraged to comment.
Yeah.
We try to fit everybody as you guys talk to us, and I know that it's a little tough for us to be able to include everyone, but thank you nonetheless.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so we're around 57 minutes. I guess we got to wrap
Wow,
up now.
time
See how
flies.
fast that
I was really like, how are we gonna do this? Because we usually have a guest
Yeah.
on the show.
How do we fill in the blank?
Like, how do we like, you know? But it's just how it is. And you know what? This is the essence of Closelook. Really, it's just natural conversation by real people, no filter. Hopefully, no filter.
Well,
But-
I would say 60-40. Hey, Dustin, 60-40 filter. That's what it's.
Well, you're choosing to use your filter.
Well, you don't want us to not use them. Trust me.
Well,
Dustin and
that's
I
what
want
I'm
to come
saying.
back. We want a job.
Okay, fine.
Whew. If you don't see, like, my face is like beet red. Like, it's so
I'm
hot
noticing.
in here,
Yep.
and so many things I'm biting my tongue about because I don't want to piss anybody
yeah,
off.
no,
so.
I'm playing PG-13 here. Actually,
very-
probably PG. I'm not even going 13.
These kind of topics. Now, I know what people are gonna think. Like, Daniel, I'm so general, and we're gonna go a little over. I'm sorry, Dustin, but I'm so general in everything. But I really, the way that I think is honestly how I think. You know, I really don't care who you are. It's about how you handle yourself and how you can.
It's literally what you bring to the table.
Yeah,
Like,
literally what you bring to the table. I
Yeah.
really could care less to anything else, any other detail. I don't care if you're missing half your face. I really don't. I know that's
Yeah.
a weird.
Exactly. I don't
Weird.
care if you're a gremlin.
Yeah, I really
I
don't.
don't care if you're Tony the Tiger.
Yeah.
You're
all
still great.
Dustin, say it. We're all okay.
right.
On
They're
three.
great.
1, 2, 3.
We're
They're great.
great.
There you go. Okay. Anyways, with
Oh
that being
my gosh,
said,
that's our
I thank
energy.
you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of the amazing. You guys, my God, like chat is just going insane.
I really like this.
I love
it. Makes it so much lively. Yeah.
Okay, so with that being said, I am Daniel Westbay.
I am Alicia.
And I'm Dustin Gaddick, and this program is sponsored by Surrey Honda on 152nd and Fraser Highway. For excellent service and the latest deals, check out surreyhonda.com.
And we look forward to seeing you next week. I believe we have Shannon on the show next week.
Yeah,
who is,
amazing.
Did I say his name right?
I think it's Shanann.
Shanann.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Shanann.
Shanann.
Remember, if you have an amazing story that you want to share, please go to www.closelook.ca and all the information is there. If you want to write for the magazine, same thing applies. Go there and submit your forms. And I believe, actually, do you help with that? No, you don't do that. No.
Not right now.
The approval? No. Okay. She doesn't do anything. So don't
Yeah,
try to panic.
I really don't do anything.
If you want, you can follow us on social media. This is new. I want everybody to follow us on social media. You can follow, of course, Close Look. But if you like whatever we're doing, you could always follow. I'm not a hidden person. You could go to Facebook, Daniel Westbay, Dan from Everywhere on Instagram. I don't know if you guys want to give it out.
I don't know. I guess you can follow me. I'm Dustin Gaddick on Facebook, and I'm Pantera Kartama on Instagram. Good luck with that one.
Just leave it up to them.
Very tough for some people to find me there on purpose. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Whoa.
Hang on. Hold the news. What happened here? I see someone shouted out here. What's going on?
It's Gyrus. Just kind of making another statement to clarify here.
Oh, okay. We got a quick second. Go ahead.
Yeah, you want me to go for it?
Go ahead.
I'm guessing we're on the same page, but to clarify, in case, okay. I meant the men seeing too much of the women's bodies despite the professional work sphere in a warehouse, and then the women being reported for it as a public nude exhibitionist would be. Interesting. If that's what you meant to, then right on.
I want to know what warehouse he's working at.
Yeah, what warehouse are you working at
because
to have such exposure?
I really feel like that women could wear what they want to wear, and really, if you have a problem with that, I feel like it's more. Unless they're like genuine, like totally nude.
The warehouse I work is cold all the time.
I know.
No one's going to be.
I didn't know that this was a problem. Yeah, I don't know.
So in warehouse, but again,
interesting.
Women can wear what they wear. If you have a problem with that, I feel like that's a you problem. But
yes,
that's a thing. I mean, yeah. Anyways, thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for tuning in.
We'll see you next week when thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great Sunday. Thank you very much.